Why does trying to stay positive all the time secretly wear your soul out? Why positive affirmations fail? Here is the secret. Story time by T. Santoro.
What if the strength you have been searching for does not come from keeping a smile glued to your face, but from a calm inner steadiness that never tries too hard? Tonight, we gather inside a quiet outdoor pavilion where the breeze feels cool and the wooden rafters catch the last hints of sunlight. People are settling into their seats, sipping warm drinks, talking softly, and waiting for the spiritual teacher Tony to begin. A hush came upon the gathering as Tony stepped forward, not rushing, not performing, simply moving with a grounded presence. A couple of lanterns glowed along the walkway, and the first sounds of night insects began to hum around the stage. Then Tony walked to the front of the stage and asked a question that made the entire pavilion go still.
Why does trying to stay positive take so much out of you?
Hi, Tony. My name is Tasha, and I know exactly what you mean. I try to keep my mind bright, but sometimes I feel like I am putting on a mask.
Tasha, who always feels most alive in the woods and mountains, looks up from her seat. Her best friend, Steve, the outdoor adventurer, leans forward.
I do the same. I say all the good things. I try to keep my spirits high, but the tension never leaves my chest. So I keep wondering, am I saying the affirmations wrong? Or am I missing something?
A few people murmur in agreement. One woman looks relieved that someone finally said it. Another man crosses his arms, but keeps listening. Someone whispers, "I have been tired of pretending too." Tony smiled with that steady warmth he carried everywhere.
You are not broken. You are just using too much energy to hold up a version of yourself you do not actually feel.
He nodded to the group.
Welcome to Awaken Light Energy.
The atmosphere softened, as if the room itself recognized the honesty in the air. Tony continued.
People misunderstand positive thinking. They think it means you must shove fear into a corner and talk over it with happy lines. But that is not healing. That is hiding.
A young man in the second row lifted his hand.
So, should we stop trying to stay positive?
Tony chuckled lightly.
No, the problem is not positivity. The problem is pressure. Pressure to feel good on command. Pressure to ignore what your body is actually saying. That internal split is what drains your soul.
He paused, then added,
As James Allen teaches, your outer world mirrors the deeper truths you hold, not the words you repeat.
Tasha brushed a leaf off her thigh.
So what do we do with the heavy stuff? The sadness, the fear, the worry?
Tony stepped off the stage carefully and crouched down near the front row.
You let the feeling exist. You acknowledge it. You name it. But then you choose your state. That choice is your doorway into certainty.
Steve raises an eyebrow.
Certainty? Can you explain that in plain English?
Tony stands again and steps back up on stage.
Certainty means you stop forcing feelings and start standing in truth. Positive thinking pushes. Certainty settles.
Someone in the back speaks up, voice full of doubt.
So certainty is just wishful thinking with confidence?
Tony laughed softly.
I like your honesty. No, certainty is not pretending. Certainty is the quiet recognition that reality begins in consciousness long before it shows up in your life. As Plato reminded us, the mind shapes the world long before the world shapes the mind.
Several people nodded without even realizing it. Tony continued.
Certainty does not require you to be cheerful. It does not require mood control. It does not ask you to be someone you are not. Certainty is simply the understanding that what God placed in the unseen part of you is already forming in the seen world. Forced positivity paints the outside. Certainty strengthens the inside.
A woman near the aisle lifted her hand.
But how do we know certainty is real? What if we are just fooling ourselves?
Tony stepped closer to her row.
That is a fair question, and before I answer it, if this message is helping you so far, please take a moment to like this video. It really helps. Thank you. Certainty is built the same way trust is built, one honest step at a time. You acknowledge the fear, but you do not let it define your identity. You recognize doubt, but you do not treat it as destiny. You choose a deeper truth beneath the feeling.
So you are saying I can feel anxious and still be certain about my future?
Yes, certainty is not emotion. Certainty is understanding, and understanding is stronger than any passing fear.
Tasha exhales as if something inside her relaxes.
This feels different from fake positivity. It feels real. It feels grounded.
That is because it is. As the Gospel of Mary explains, the soul finds peace, not by denying what rises within, but by remembering its true origin.
Tony steps forward with that quiet strength everyone came to hear.
You stop wearing your soul out when you stop pretending. You reclaim yourself when you choose certainty over performance. You realign your energy when you let truth guide you instead of fear.
Tony looked out at everyone as if he were speaking to each person directly.
What you hold in consciousness is the seed. What you see in the world is the fruit. Forced positivity tries to decorate the tree. Certainty strengthens the root.
His voice softened even more.
This is the moment your healing journey begins. This is where your spiritual growth takes shape. This is where you feel love, harmony, peace, and joy rise naturally because you stopped fighting your own inner landscape and finally stood in truth.
He let the silence return one more time, but this time the silence felt full, not empty. Tony stepped toward the edge of the stage and rested his hands lightly on the railing. His voice softened as he spoke.
Let me tell you the secret of positive thinking. Real positive thinking is not pretending. It is not pushing yourself into a mood you do not feel. True positive thinking is the kind of certainty you already live with every day. You never question whether your eyes will blink or whether your heart will beat. You do not sit in bed wondering if your next breath will arrive. You trust those things without thinking because they are woven into who you are.
He turned his head toward the horizon where the last edge of daylight slipped behind the trees.
In that same way, no one wakes up worried that the sun might forget to rise. You trust that rhythm without trying. That quiet trust is what real positive thinking feels like. Not wanting, not wishing, not forcing. Knowing. A knowing so natural, it does not need to be spoken out loud because it is already a part of you. You are not here by accident tonight. You are here because your soul is ready to understand life from a deeper place. When you let these truths settle inside you, they reshape more than your thoughts. They reshape the entire way you move through life.
Tony's eyes scanned the pavilion slowly, making sure no one felt overlooked.
So let this understanding guide you. Let it settle into your decisions, your quiet moments, your challenges. Live from the certainty that what is real in consciousness will become real in your experience. Walk with the inner strength of someone who is no longer performing positivity, but embodying truth.
He gave one final nod, gentle and sure.
And when we meet again, come back as someone who knows, not someone who hopes. Someone who stands in their own greatness, with both feet planted. Someone who trusts the unseen, the same way they trust the rising sun.
Peace. See you in the stillness. If this story spoke to you, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and remember to click the bell so you always hear a new story. And if you know someone who could use this message, share it with them. Because sometimes, a simple story is all it takes to spark something real.